In Matthew 16:26, Jesus famously said, "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul?" Now, while the Gospels of Mark and Luke also record this famous saying of Jesus, I find that Matthew gives the best overall context. And in this Thursday morning Bible brief, we're going to quickly look at these three main points. Why did Jesus say it? What did he mean? And what did it mean to his disciples and ultimately to us today? Hi everyone, I'm Mark Leeming and welcome to the Thursday Bible Brief, where the aim of this channel is to provide sound theology in a brief amount of time. And so if you find that appealing, please do consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Now, this video will be the first in a series of videos dealing with the more popular sayings of Jesus that I'll be adding to occasionally over the next coming months. So with that said, let's begin. Point number one. So why did Jesus say, "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul?" Well, Matthew describes it in this manner. Jesus had asked his disciples quite bluntly who they thought that he was. And Peter, the front man of the group, stepped forward and said that Jesus was a long-awaited Messiah foretold throughout the Old Testament. And at that, Jesus told Peter that God had chosen him out of all the disciples to be the future leader of Christ's movement. But then things quickly went south for poor old Peter. Jesus began to teach them that soon he was going to be arrested, tortured, and executed, something that he had never been quite so open to them about before. But Peter, and remember, he was the one who just said that Jesus was the Messiah, thought that that was crazy talk. That was not the way the Messiah was supposed to be talking. And so he actually took Jesus aside and began to rebuke him for it. But Jesus, of course, would have none of that, he in turn rebuked Peter and set the record straight. He then went on to teach his disciples the true cost of following him, the true cost of following the Messiah. Point number two, what did Jesus mean? Well, Peter, just like you and I, was a product of his own time, held hostage to his cultural upbringing. You see, to the Jewish people back then, they envisioned the Messiah as one who was going to come and liberate them from the Romans, a Messiah who would establish an earthly kingdom that would be even greater than during the time of King David. And now, for Peter, he envisioned a kingdom that he would play a leading role in. But that was not why Jesus had come. Rather, Jesus had come to establish a spiritual kingdom whose values were completely antithetical to the world's, a set of values that by its very nature would shake the foundation of the world order, which would in turn elicit strong opposition, even violent opposition. So following Jesus wasn't for the faint of heart, and yet the cost for not doing so would be eternal. And finally, point number three, what did it mean to the disciples and what does it mean for us today? All of the disciples, and not just Peter, had to undergo a major rethink as to why they were following Christ. They had to let go of all of their earthly ambitions. They had to start following Christ for who he really was and not for who they thought he was. And in the end, all of them did just that. Well, except one, Judas, who not long after this event sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver and personally led the guards to arrest Jesus. So what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Well, it's something that Judas has been asking the past 2,000 years and will continue to do so throughout eternity.